So I'm here with Molly Hurford, and we're about to launch her second edition of Saddle Sore.
Yeah, Saddle Sore, ride comfortable, ride happy this time.
And when did you first publish it?
So the first edition came out in 2014 after getting asked by a bunch of women at bike races a bunch of really awkward questions that I didn't really know the answer to, so I kept trying to find a website to send them to be like, okay, here, this isn't my problem anymore. And there wasn't a website, so I figured I'll just write this really weird book of all of the awkward questions that women have. And I legitimately thought I'd sell 25 copies. And 2 years later, I sold, thousands of copies, and women were still coming to my talks and still emailing me with questions. So there were a bunch of things left unanswered in the first edition that I really wanted to hit on, and there were a bunch of guys that were coming up to me and asking me questions too, which I really didn't know the answer to. So I decided to, make this one a bit more unisex and have some stuff for men and some stuff for pregnant women and post-pregnant women and menopausal women and a whole gamut of new things.
But really aimed at the cycling community.
Still aimed at the cycling community of kind of any nature. Like, it didn't really matter if you were a commuter or if you're a serious racer or a triathlete or a mountain biker. There's still a lot to be learned about riding more comfortably.
And are you still actively riding?
I am.
I know you used to race. I don't think I've seen you racing in a while though.
I used to be a very serious racer. For a lot of years, but in recent years, between writing and all the other work that I do, less time racing, but still a lot of time on the saddle and riding. And actually, my husband Peter and I just signed up for Ironman Canada for next summer, so I guess I'm gonna have to be riding a whole lot more.
That's a big step up, I would think.
Yeah, I did one 6 years ago, swore I'd never do one again, and then apparently lied.
And you've talked Peter into doing it. I'm assuming this is going to be his first.
It will be, yeah. He has to learn how to swim, but once he gets through that, I figure he's going to pass me at like mile 5 with the bike, and I'm never going to see him again.
Awesome. So are there particular sections in the book that you think everybody should know about?
Oh man, well, obviously the most important thing for me is kind of this idea of like prevention of saddle sores and chafing and numbness. I think so many people go through riding thinking that being uncomfortable and being numb down there or getting saddle sores fairly regularly is a totally normal occurrence, but it really doesn't have to be, and there's so many little things we can do to prevent them. So I think the biggest thing isn't about how to treat saddle sores, although that's clearly in here as well. I think it's all of the steps you can take to prevent them from happening, from getting a bike fit that works for you, to choosing a better saddle, to choosing a better chamois, to take off your shorts when you're done with your bike ride. And don't wear underwear under them.
A lot of it's really just common sense, isn't it?
100%, but it's actually amazing how many new cyclists don't get told this really common sense stuff. Like, I didn't even know bike shorts existed for the first 2 years of riding because I was a triathlete when I started. So I really thought you rode in a swimsuit or shorts, like normal, like not even real running shorts, like the Sophie, like cotton polyester ones that you roll up and look cool in gym class. That's what I rode my bike in for hours at a time. I had no idea. And then I was on a team and they gave me a pair of shorts and I was like, well, what the heck are these? I'd never seen a chamois. And then I got on my bike and was like,
now you know. Yeah.
It's so much better. So I think we tend to think it's common sense because we've been riding for a lot of years. But for the new rider, he or she might be really embarrassed about asking that kind of stuff and just not even know that it's a thing to ask about.
Yeah, I expect people understand the technology of bicycles more than they understand the ergonomics of how you sit on them.
Exactly. And I actually even had to ask when I was writing the men's chapter, I talked to a male cyclist doctor who did a bunch of team doctor stuff, and I was like, for a new guy cyclist, where does stuff go when they sit on a saddle? And he's like, well, they're only going to make this mistake once. But it's like, okay, but for women, we have no idea exactly because we don't have that one thing that's really going to hurt if we sit on it.
Right.
So I think there's lots that us veteran cyclists can pass on to the new cyclists, and hopefully some of them can read this and solve some of their problems.
And you're doing 3 days of the launch, today just being the first one,
Yeah.
so people can hook up with you tomorrow and Wednesday as well?
Yes. So tonight we're here in Toronto at the Trek store, and we're also launching the Trek Canada mountain bike team, which my husband obviously, kind of headmans, so that's exciting. And then tomorrow we're at the Trek store in Aurora, and Thursday is Trek store Barrie. So definitely, if people want to come out, we have food, we have wine, we have a Q&A, we have some of Peter's great training advice. We talk about my key principles here. Really fun nights.
Sounds like a blast. I'm glad I'm here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.